too.
Good morning. My name is Valerie Bayless. I'm a member of this congregation and your worship associate today. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, intern minister Liz Martin, director of religious exploration Lexi T. Brown, our music director Alex Peach, accompanist Meredith McCaskey, and the multi-talented Richard Bamba, along with the other musicians performing this morning, and the greeters and technical team that are making today's live stream possible, I'd like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, all are welcome here. Welcome to anyone joining us remotely. For any visitors who are here with us for the first time, and if you're comfortable doing so, would you please stand and tell us your name and where you're from so that we can get to know you better? Are there any first-time visitors on this side? Good morning. Hi, the couple back here, hi. Hi, Katie.
I'm Reed.
I'm sorry?
I'm Reed.
Hi.
This is Rose.
Good morning. And you are?
I am Luca.
Hi, good morning, Luca. And good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Hi, Mark. Welcome. Are there any visitors on this side? All right. We joyfully welcome children and families in worship. The sounds of children are part of a living congregation. For busy hands of all ages, there is a fidget shelf in the back of the sanctuary. Nursery care for babies and toddlers is available and opens before the service begins. After the Wondering Time story, children will be sung out to Children's Chapel and Fellowship Hall. Now our announcements. Are you new to UUMAN? Join us for a discussion of the varied spiritual journeys that brought each of us to UUMAN and how these journeys relate to the UU faith at next week's UU 101 session after service. That's March 15th. Please see Jessie Diaz for more information. Jessie is wearing a shirt with a tiger on it this morning, or a leopard, or a cheetah. Please consult your printed order of worship to see our second hour adult enrichment offerings for today. This Tuesday is a very big day at the Georgia Capitol. Tuesday is Pride at the Capitol, where we can show support as allies for our LGBTQ plus friends. Although it will be a full day of training and advocacy, many of us could simply give our support by showing up for the rally at 10:45 at Liberty Plaza, adjacent to the Capitol, and/or be a part of the support contingent at the 2 p.m. press conference taking place on the inside steps of the Capitol. Reverend Dave will be there all day. Feel free to contact him on his mobile phone. It will be crowded, parking will be limited, so taking MARTA is recommended. And now, our social justice co-chair, Jennifer Ratcliffe, will inform us on the advocacy of UU's Georgia Legislative Action Network and how you can advocate for our values from the comfort of your own phone.
Good morning. Can you take out your phones? I'm going to show you how you can make a difference with a touch of a button. So if you can log on to UUGALAN, pull it up on your phones. UUGALAN. Yeah. So Unitarian Universalists of Georgia, Legislative Action Network. So it looks something like this. .org. And at the very top of the page, there's a little banner that says, sign up for action alerts. And if you click on that, it will ask you for all of your information. It tells you what bills are that you might be interested in, and it also asks you which congregation you belong to. If you don't belong to this congregation, there's a button that says Other, and you submit it. So the next time that we have an action alert, you're going to get an email from us, and all you have to do is go to the bottom of the email and press Submit. And you will be contacting either your representative, your senator, or any of the committee members that are in your district, and they will get an email from you. I've started doing this, and I've gotten emails back from Congress people thanking me for contacting them. Yeah.
Could you say the address one
UUGALAN.org. And you can see me after the service. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Jennifer. And now, let us greet one another with the hand or elbow of friendship.
Good morning, folks. Today's call to worship is by Reverend Leslie Takahashi. Walk the maze within your heart. Guide your steps into questioning curves. This labyrinth is a puzzle leading you deeper into your own truths. Listen in the twists and turns. Listen in the openness within all searching. Listen. A wisdom within you calls a wisdom beyond you, and in that dialogue lies peace. And now let us light our chalice together.
Our chalice lighting is called Weavers of One Story. Here we are, together, each facing our different human tasks, or maybe the same central one, to embrace the lessons life delivers, to discern and respond as we grow, to refuse harm and cherish flourishing. May we know ourselves as vessels of infinite possibility, holders of each other's heartaches and tales of joy alike, weavers of one story in which we each have our part. And now, as you are able, would you please stand and sing our opening hymn, number 346 in the hardback hymnal, Come Sing a Song with Me. This is the time in our service when children, young and old, are invited to the front for our Time for All Ages. After the story, children are invited to exit into Fellowship Hall for Children's Chapel for the remainder of the service. If this is your child's first time attending our Children's Chapel, please walk them into Fellowship Hall. And then after service, please escort your children to their appropriate RE classroom in Discovery Cottage during second hour.
Good morning. Okay, our story today is called Springtime Storks. Bang! I heard the startling blast. I didn't know it was meant for me. I didn't know I was falling to the ground. It happened too fast. Thump. I landed in the thick, high, soft grass at the edge of a sprawling field. It knocked the breath right out of me. Luca swooped down, landed on long legs in the grassy patch, taking care, calling my name. Katerina, Katerina. He inched closer until strangers approached and stood over me. The man scooped me up gently in his arms. Together, he and the girl ran with me farther and farther from Luca, farther and farther from him, who was still crouching in the field, confused, afraid, his feathers ruffling. I tried to call to him, but my voice wouldn't come. "It's okay, you're okay," the child said. The man stroked my back. "Shh, shh." He hushed, even though I was wide-eyed and silent. Not until then did the clouds in my head clear. Not until he began to clean my wound did I know that the bang had done me harm. Lucas stayed that day and all night long outside the window, keeping his distance. When the man and the child came near, until sunlight seeped through the barn door cracks. "You have to go," I said. He could not bear the coming cold, and I could not bear the flight, and so we said goodbye. While snow flew and wind whistled, the man minded my wing, the child fed me and tended my nest in the barn. I wondered and worried about Luca. The snow melted, the sun warmed, and crocuses bloomed. One morning when the child brought my breakfast, I followed her out to the muddy yard. I stretched my legs, I stretched my wings, I winced a little bit, but still I had to try. I took long strides and leaped, wings fluttering, flapping. I flew, not all that far and not all that high, but I could do it. To the peak of the barn, and there the child helped me make my summer nest. As magnolias bloomed, I watched the sky, witnessed warblers and terns, flycatchers and crakes, honey buzzards, kestrels, and yes, even ruffs, making their way from their winter homes back. But no Luca. When golden marshes boasted green, I stopped searching. I stopped yearning to fly away too. My wings could not endure the flights. Not now, not next week, not ever. One day, roosting on the rooftop in my nest, I watched a gray speck ride a cloud in a distant sky, drifting nearer, a spot, a smudge, a smear in the sky. And then I heard, "Katerina, Luca!" My nest was roomy enough for 2, and then 5. When our brood was ready, Luca taught them to fly. The summer was long and lovely. We ate from the river and lingered at its shore, foraged in the fields, and counted sunsets until the green leaves gave way to red, yellow, and orange. When the colors fell to the ground, it was time for Luca to leave again. "I know the way now," he said. "Next spring, I won't be late when I come back." See you when the magnolias bloom. So that's the end of the story, but I want to tell you this is actually sort of a twofer. I have another story for you. That story was written by an author based on something that really happened, and this is what really happened. This is the true story of a stork called Melina and her mate, Klepitan. In the autumn of 1993, Melina was flying south from Croatia to South Africa when she was shot by a hunter. Her wing was seriously injured. A man named Stjepan Vokic found her on the side of a road and took her home to help her heal because she could no longer make the nearly 8,000-mile migration to South Africa. So he cared for her all year round. In 2002, so 9 years later, Vokic built a nest for Melina on the roof of his home. That's when Klepitan spotted her and became her mate. Every year, he'd make the journey south for the winter, and every spring, when magnolias were in full bloom, he returned to Melina. Over the years, they raised 66 chicks together. Melina wasn't alone in her search for her Klepiton's return. More than 2 million people eagerly awaited his annual springtime return via a live stream video and through photos and videos posted on social media. So, that's a lot.
At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, state your name, and drop a pebble into the bowl and express a joy or a sorrow that you may have. For those attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or sorrow that you would like to share this morning, please type it into the chat.
Sorry. My name's Michael Arnett. I'm a member of the congregation here. I just want to drop a pebble of joy, something that I stumbled across looking for places to play open mics, open mic nights in, around the Marietta area. I stumbled across a place called the Hunt House. It's an old house at the base of Kennesaw Mountain, and they do weddings. It's like a wedding venue place, but they also do like shows, music shows, concerts, and they just started doing an open mic on Wednesdays, and my wife and I started doing those the last 2 weeks, and we have had just a blast. It's just brought a lot of joy, and so that's what I want to drop a pebble for. And so if anybody wants to hear and it's all original music, that's what they emphasize, so it's really good. The people are great. It's such a great time. It's like playing in a living room, a stage. It's everybody's listening, and then there's other areas that you can go off and hang out and stuff. So it's just a really cool place. It's been there 10 years, and the people that run it are really nice. They're not paying me to plug this. I'm just, anyway, that's my joy.
I actually have 3 pebbles of joy. So one is I feel like I've been kind of in a slump as far as like artsy stuff. And I have an art degree and I haven't really been using it for much in the past few years. And I'm starting to get back into sketching and things like that. So I think that's very exciting and I'm very happy to see that in myself. Another pebble of joy is I was looking for a place locally to buy closer to zero waste sustainable products for toiletries and different things. And I found one out in Avondale Estates called Joyful Jara, and they do ship in case you're not close to that location, so highly recommend. And then my third pebble of joy is we have the youth service next weekend, I believe, and we're doing our practice for that today. So please, come and support our youth. But all very exciting things and just happy things in the midst of current events and everything else that's going on. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Ann Bender. I have a pebble of sorrow/anger about what's happening in Iran and the rest of the Middle East.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson, member of the dedicated live stream team. We have a few items to read from this morning. One, a joy from Steve Allerton, and I'll for a joy for the presenters and the DST warriors and all the congregation who came this morning an hour early to participate and make the service possible. So this is for you all. And second, from Dwana Bush, a pebble of gratefulness for the Democratic Governors Association, representing 23 states who continue to win up to 80% of the lawsuits they bring against the Trump regime.
I will drop one final pebble for those joys and sorrows that are still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let's keep one another in our thoughts for this week. When Buddhism reached China, its philosophical ideas intermingled with native Taoist philosophy. The result was called Chan Buddhism. When this reached the shores of Japan, it was translated as Zen Buddhism. Nyogen Senzaki, born in Japan in 1874, was raised by a Buddhist priest after essentially being abandoned by his parents. At age 19, 3 years after his foster father's death, he became a Zen monk. He came to the US in 1905 at 31 years of age and did odd jobs as a houseboy, cook, and elevator operator. He loved the San Francisco Public Library, reading Emerson, William James, and Immanuel Kant, who he described as a true giant of philosophy, but one who at times needed a good kick in the pants. By 1919, he had completed 101 Zen stories, a compilation of Zen koans written between the 13th and 20th centuries. A koan is essentially a Zen riddle often given by masters to test the quality of enlightenment in their students. What is the sound of one hand clapping is one of the more famous Zen koans. He began to teach Zen meditation in San Francisco and later in Los Angeles in what he would call his floating Zendo model. To reinforce the ideas that his students already had everything they needed to attain enlightenment, he often ended his Dharma talks by saying, "Forget everything I just said." He always had little to no money and was often homeless. During World War II, he was relocated to a Japanese internment camp in Wyoming. A fellow internee and Los Angeles motel owner was so impressed with Nyogen that he allowed the monk to live rent-free in his motel after the war. Nyogen continued to teach Zen. He died in 1958 at the age of 81. Many of his students became prominent Zen teachers in the United States. His philosophy is as follows. It is not enough to tell people that it is possible to become a Buddha. What Zen actually does is produce Buddhas. Zen is the actualization of the unselfish life.
I have come to learn Zen.
Ah, yes. But first, tea.
You're pouring too much. It's overflowing. It has so much, it's making a mess.
Like this cup, your mind is full of ideas and concepts. How can I show you Zen until you empty your cup?
Me, opinions?
Hakuin was a famous Zen teacher, and he was highly respected in the village that he lived. Well, one day, there was a beautiful girl, unmarried, who was with child. Her parents were very angry, and they pressed her to reveal who the father was, and she would not, until finally she relented and said that the father was none other than Hakuin, the Zen master. Well, the parents were angry, and they confronted Hakuin. How could you do this? You got our daughter pregnant. Hakuin's response, is that so? Well, the young girl had the baby, and the parents brought the baby to Hakuin to raise. It's your duty to raise this child, they said. Hakuin's response, is that so? Hakuin's reputation had suffered greatly by that point, yet he didn't care. Hakuin raised the baby, and after a year, the young woman could take it no longer, and she finally said that the father of the baby was a young man from the next village. The parents went to Hakuin to retrieve the baby and to apologize, saying, you are not the father. And Hakuin's response, is that so?
A man was traveling across a field when he encountered a tiger, which started chasing him. As the man was running, he realized he was approaching a precipice. The only thing he could see was the root of an old vine, which he grabbed and flung himself over the precipice. The tiger stood at the top, pawing at the ground. Trembling and hanging on to the vine, the man looked down to realize there was another tiger at the bottom waiting to eat him. That vine was the only thing sustaining him. Then, two mice, one black and one white, began slowly gnawing at the vine. The man looked over and realized right next to him was a perfect strawberry. Grasping the vine with one hand, he reached over and plucked the strawberry. How sweet it tasted.
Ikyu was very clever, even as a boy. Now, his teacher had this precious cup that he loved so much. And one day, Ikyu, as a child, broke the precious cup. And then he was perplexed. How was he going to break this news to his teacher? Well, his teacher comes back, and Ikyu says, Master, why do people have to die? And his teacher responded, it is natural. Everything just has only so long to live. Everything must die. And Ikyu pulled out the pieces of the broken cup and said, it was time for your teacup to die.
Once a famous Zen master who was holding classes, and Zen students came from all over Japan, to this class. And as he was teaching, one day, his student said, "Master, there is a student among us who is a thief. We have to kick him out of the school." The master did nothing. He continued to teach. A few days later, they came to him again. "This student continues to steal. We must kick him out. He does not know right from wrong. He does not belong here." The master did nothing and continued to teach. Finally, the students put together a petition, submitted it to the master, and said, "Master, if you do not kick this student out, the rest of us will leave." And the master responded, "You know right from wrong. This student does not. This is the student who needs the teaching. The rest of you can leave. I don't care. I will teach this student, even if I have to do so for the rest of my life."
Zenkai was the son of a samurai, and he worked for an official in Edo. Yet he fell in love with the official's wife. And the official found out about it and came after Zenkai. But Zenkai ended up killing him. And he and the official's wife ran off, and they engaged in a life of thievery for many years. But then Zenkai became disgusted with that life, and the two separated. And he became a wandering mendicant throughout Japan. And he came upon this one place where people had to, from going from one town to another, had to go over a mountain pass, very dangerous. Many people lost their lives going over this mountain pass. And to atone for his past, he said that he would single-handedly build a tunnel through the mountain so that the people would not have to go over this mountain pass. So he began begging for food in the daytime and digging the tunnel at night. He did it for 30 years. And when he was finished, the tunnel was 2,000 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 30 feet tall. 30 years. But 2 years before he finished, the son of that official who he had murdered had found him out and confronted him with a sword. "I'm here to avenge the death of my father." Zenkai said, "I will give you my life willingly. Only let me finish building this tunnel." And the official's son agreed, and he waited. And he watched Zenkai work diligently every day on the tunnel. Eventually, he became tired of watching, and he joined Zenkai in the building of the tunnel, digging for 2 years. And the official's son became kind of admiring of Zenkai, of his strong will and character and determination. But the tunnel got built. And when it was done, Zenkai put his pick down and said, "My work here is finished. Now, off with my head." And the official's son, with tears in his eyes, said, "How can I cut off the head of my teacher?"
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also use the Give Now option in the Breeze app or web browser. This month's 50/50 recipient is the Equal Justice Initiative. Any check specifically designated as 50/50 or any Breeze donations specifying Give to 50/50 this month will go to support their work.
Thank you, Richard. We accept the sacred offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission. Once upon a time, there was a merchant with many goods on his way to a marketplace in a town, but he got tired along the way, and he decided to take a rest in the shadow of a large stone Buddha. So he fell asleep in the shadow of the large stone Buddha. And when he woke up, all his goods that he was taking to market were gone, stolen. It wasn't a big town, but nobody in the town seemed to care who the thief was or who stole it, didn't show any interest in getting the goods back for this merchant. Well, the judge in the town said it was obvious who the culprit was. None other than the stone Buddha itself. So he ordered the police to go arrest the stone Buddha. And the police were perplexed. How could a stone Buddha commit a crime? But the judge was adamant, and the police went, got the Buddha, and dragged it to the court. Well, this spectacle interested the townspeople, and they all began to follow the stone Buddha back to the courthouse. And when they finally reached there, the stone Buddha was up there as the defendant, and the whole town was there in the courtroom, and they were all laughing and carrying on at this crazy spectacle. And the judge walks in and says, "What right do you have joking and laughing and carrying on this way when a crime has been committed? I hold you all in contempt, and you will all face a fine and face arrest unless this merchant's goods are returned." Well, the next day, a thief was found, and all the goods were returned.
There was once a great samurai warrior, and he went to the Zen master and said, "Master, is there a heaven and is there a hell? And if so, where are the gates to heaven and hell?" And the master said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm a great warrior." "You don't look like a warrior to me. You look like a bum." And he says, "You think you can hurt me with your sword? You probably don't even know how to sharpen your sword." And the samurai pulls it halfway out, and the Zen master says, "That is the gate to hell." He gently puts his sword back in, and the master says, "And that is the gate to heaven."
One evening, Shinchiri was in his room reciting the sutras when a thief, brandishing a sword, came in and said, "Your money or your life." "Do not disturb me," the Zen master said. "There's money over there in the drawer. Go, you can take it." And the thief went over and started to take the money. But before he got done collecting all the money, Shinchiri said, "Wait, leave some for me because I have to pay my taxes tomorrow." And the thief did. He gathered up the money, left some to pay the taxes for the next day, and began to leave. But Shinchiri called him back and said, "Hey, you need to thank someone when they give you a gift." And the thief thanked him and then left. Well, a few days later, the thief was caught thieving some other people in the town. And Shinchiri was called too. The thief had already confessed to the crimes. But when Shinchiri was asked about the thief, he said, "This man is no thief. I gave him the money and he thanked me for it." Well, the thief did have to do his time in prison. And when he got out, he went to Shinchiri and became one of his disciples.
In the olden days in Japan, bamboo and paper lanterns with a candle inside were very common. A blind man was visiting his friend. As the visit concluded in the evening, the friend said, "Take this lantern to guide your way home." The blind man said, "I don't need this. Light and darkness is all the same to me." And his friend said, "But this may keep others from bumping into you." Begrudgingly, the blind man took the lantern, started home, and lo and behold, not long afterwards, a stranger ran smack into him. "Can't you see this lantern?" the blind man said. "Your candle has gone out, brother," the stranger replied.
Once upon a time, there was a town that had 2 Zen temples. And in each of the temples was a child protege, small protege of each Zen temple. And every morning, each temple would send that child to the market to buy vegetables. And on the way to market to buy vegetables that day, the 2 met up. And the one said to the other, "Where are you going?" And the second one said, "Wherever my feet will take me." This puzzled the first child. I thought he was going to say something else. So when he got back to the temple that day, he talked to his master about this and said, told him what transpired. And his teacher said, "Well, when you meet this young child tomorrow on the way to the temple or to market to buy vegetables, ask him the same question. And then when he responds with that answer, wherever my feet will take me, say, well, what if you have no feet? That will fix him." So the next day, both kids set out to the market to buy vegetables. They encounter one another, and the first says to the second, "Where are you going?" The second says, "Wherever the wind will take me." This perplexed, once again, the first child. And he again had to go back to his teacher afterwards and explain what happened. And the teacher said, "Okay, so next time you see him, ask him the same question, 'Where are you going?' And when he says, 'Wherever the wind will take me,' then ask him, 'Well, what if there is no wind?' That will fix him." And the next day, both kids going off to the market to buy vegetables. They encounter one another. The first says to the other, "Where are you going?" And the second says, "I'm going to the market to buy vegetables." And they decided that they would maintain a week-long vow of silence. And it worked well for the first day. No one spoke. But then, when night fell upon them, the oil lamp that they had started to go dim. Fix those lamps.
We're not supposed to be talking.
You 2 are so stupid. I'm the only one who hasn't talked.
Please rise as you are able and sing our closing hymn, number 100, "I've Got Peace Like a River," from the hardback hymnal. And now let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Zen Master Shoyin Shaku was the first Zen teacher to come to America. It's at the end of the 19th century. And he was one of the teachers of the author of the book 101 Zen Stories, Nyogen Senzaki. He made some rules for his life that he practiced each and every day. He said, in the morning before dressing, light incense and meditate. Retire at a regular hour, eat at regular intervals, and eat with moderation, never to the point of satisfaction. Receive a guest with the same attitude that you would have when you're alone. And when you're alone, have the same attitude you would have as when you receive guests. Watch what you say, yet whatever you say, practice it. When an opportunity comes, do not let it pass, yet always think twice before acting. Don't regret the past, look to the future. Have a fearless attitude like a hero, but the loving heart of a child. And upon retiring for sleep, pretend that it was like your final sleep. And when you arise each morning, leave your bed behind you instantly like you would cast off an old pair of shoes. And with that, go in peace, enjoy your week, and forget everything we just said.
I love the way you talk and your voice and your diction. Like, listening to you is a joy. Truly. Yeah. It really is. Just wanted you to know that. Well, I'm glad. It shows, I think.